guys, we got matching shirts now because he saw my short where I was mentioning he didn't have one and decided,
I'm not against graphic tee.
he will get a graphics tee. So, yay, we match. Today we wanted to talk a little bit about joining lives together and being on that same wavelength and just like going towards something like a shared goal, shared finances, etc. Because it seems like a lot of people move in together and they're living life together, but they're not really combining their lives, not truly to the fullest extent. So we just wanted to kind of talk about how our life is.
I mean, we do everything together. It's been coming up a lot lately where I'll be talking to coworkers or just new people I'll meet, and they'll talk about their marriages, and I'm just sitting there like, you sound like roommates. You live together, you can do some more intimate things together, but your lives are completely disconnected. And you've made it that way on purpose for some reason. They have different goals, they have different bank accounts, they just happen to live together. And unsurprisingly, that creates a lot of arguments and tension between them because their goals don't always align with each other. And like I said, they're basically roommates, but they're not because they're married. So you can't just move out. Like you're connected to that person for life, and you're supposed to be connected in everything. It's supposed to be one joint effort towards everything that you do. Me and Hannah don't fight about money because every single time we make any kind of big financial choice, we're in it together, and there's no such thing as my money or her money. That's not a thing. Every single dollar that gets brought into the house is our money. Admittedly, we have our own little side budgets, but that comes out of our money, and that's just so that we can basically have a little bit of personal freedom to buy gifts for each other more times than not, because that's what we really use it.
Usually what it goes for. So we talk about that system in our budgeting video. So if you're curious about like how we do finances and how we never have money fights, because that literally doesn't happen. It just doesn't in our
But it's
marriage.
not even just the money fights, because that's a huge thing for a lot of people, but
I guess I should say arguments, because some people don't like the word fights because they think physical altercation. We don't argue or debate.
if you're beating each other up, you got different problems. We'll move to you later. But we also don't have any problem supporting each other's goals because we have the same goals. Like, I don't have artistic talent, even though Hannah has her own webcomic platform.
Yeah, Beyond Romance.
I do little editing here and there. I sometimes change the stories a little bit to make them happier. But overall, I'm not that crazily involved, but I financially support it, and I do everything I can to make it work for her, and I read it, and I spread it to other people when I can. I do a lot in that regard, but I'm wholly supportive of what she's doing. I work 2 jobs, and she's fully supportive of everything I'm doing to try and pay off our mortgage that we still have.
Yeah, I would say in that kind of a regard, it's more like supporting the other person with what they're doing. So it's not necessarily the Bible, we're both tent makers. I mean, that's awesome if you get a job where you can actually both work the same, whatever. But in our situation, I'm doing these comics, I'm doing this website, but he always downplays how much he actually contributes. I'm able to bounce all of these ideas off of him. I'm able to have him do like the editing, and it's not just, you misspelled a word here, or you have a typo here, or whatever. It's more like, hey, as far as the story flow goes, I feel like this would be a better direction, and then I get to make the final call, but his feedback has honestly improved a lot of my work.
And I don't sound half as smart as she just tried to make me sound.
The involvement is incredibly good. I mean, you made St. Parasitics ending way better. Just
that made
straight
it
up.
happier.
It is a little happier than it was gonna be.
She's all about those sad endings.
I write a lot of
I'm
tragedy.
all about the happy ending no matter what. It doesn't have to make sense. We're going to win. But I guess ultimately what I'm getting at, because those are the actual jobs themselves, but her goal with the comics, with her stories, is to create Christian media that people can safely enjoy and that is extremely accessible so that no one has to steal or pirate, like no one has to do any of those types of things. Her overall goal is to spread the gospel to as many people as she can and give people nice, clean Christian content in a world that's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
My goal with 2 jobs, like, it's paying off our debt, but it's actually more about financial provision for the family and securing us and making everything better for us long term so that we have more security overall and we don't have to worry about losing our house someday because we suddenly couldn't pay the bills because it'll already be paid for. Like, there's these overarching goals, and that's where the real joint purpose comes in, because we both agree on all of these things. Those are the overarching themes of what we actually try and do, and all of it has the Bible behind it, because the Bible says that if you
Got that part.
Yeah.
the borrower is slave to the lender. It's not necessarily it's not a sin or something to be in debt, but it's not exactly wise either, and so we're trying to change that.
Sorry, I was still
No,
giggling
it's fine.
about it.
You're fine. It's not going to be taken out in post. There's gonna be one of those comments later on where I'm like, take it out in post, take it out in post. And I'm gonna get zoomed in on and be like, I didn't take it out in post. In everything we do, we're trying to pursue what God wants us to do. Her preaching the gospel in her stories are one of the best ways anyone can receive the gospel, because that's what Jesus did basically every time he talked. It's all parables. It's all meant to be like a story to make it easier for you to understand. Some of the parables are a little bit more difficult than others because they rely on cultural understanding and things of that sort, but overall, stories are a great way to actually spread the gospel, especially because we live in a culture where everyone's just looking for the next story. And yeah, but in everything that we do, we talk about it and we're with each other on it. We live our lives as one person, pretty much. You know, the Bible talks about becoming one, and that's a whole different thing.
Alone together.
Yeah, but we do everything with a purpose. We're a team. Everything we do is a joint effort, even if the other person only has minimal effort.
Well, that's one of the things I think you can bring up is like the teamwork aspect. When I was a part of a team back when I was at a summer camp, we had different people kind of assigned to different, jobs, but we were all working together towards the same goal and all accumulating points for our team. So, for example, one of the things was they were doing this contest where you had to rip cardboard off of the enemy players. So everyone was dressed in like cardboard armor. But they were also going to give points for the best aesthetics. Guess who won? But we made like little crosses and things because it was a Christian church camp. So obviously you easily win when you use like that symbolism. But yeah, we decked our night out, and the artistic talent of some of the, group. Not me and Macy. Macy also contributed quite a bit.
It's her.
The other girl. But yeah, we decked out the armor, and then the guys did everything they could to just make it as sturdy as possible. And that teamwork led to not only us winning the battle, but also the fashion. We got both. So that was really great. And I think that's kind of it. You want to work together. Like, you might be doing different things, but you still have kind of this goal that you're aiming towards, because he wants the gospel spread. I want the house paid off. So these are shared goals. Even though we're doing different things towards it, we're supporting each other. Like, making sure he has his lunches and stuff because he doesn't have the time to pack it, So
Making sure the website's always on.
yeah, because I definitely need help in that regard. But I appreciate you in a lot of areas, and I feel like you downplay a lot of what you do, but you really support it in very meaningful ways, and I genuinely don't think it would be as good, like the stories wouldn't be as good if not for your input and your help.
I just make them happy.
One of the things we combined, which I feel like is another good example of this, is our Pokemon cards.
That was a big choice.
Yeah, I mean, we both had our own collection, and we decided to just put them together. But now when we buy a pack, it's kind of interesting, because before I would get a pack and he would get a pack, and then it was like, oh, cool, you got that thing. Oh, mine. Well,
I'm guessing really sucks.
I don't know if a holofoil Deoxys counts as more to get. Wasn't so great, but yeah, granted you could trade between each other, but I've actually found it way more fun since we combined, because I open a pack and he's just as excited about what I pull as when he opens a pack.
So let's be real, I could live vicariously through your pools. And I have.
that's kind of how we do things, is work together in all things, even where we have different talents and different things that we're like interested in. We still support one another with it, and we're always moving towards the same end goals.
Which to me sounds so simple, but I know for other people it's not.
Yeah, well, for me, it's always just been kind of like exactly what I wanted. When I was getting married, I wanted to join my life with you.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Alright, well, see you guys. Don't worry, I'll cut that.
But
But I might leave her cut.